Welcome, everyone, to the first episode of the Babbling Bozos podcast. I am Joey, and over there is my co-host,
Zach.
And we are going to be talking about recent sports takes, our garbage takes. No, everything we say is bad, except for everything is good. I'll leave it to Zach.
That's why we're called the Babbling Bozos, because we're bozos and we're babbling. So we got a lot to get into today, but with training camp just starting, I think we want to talk about the NFL. So leading up to the season, we're going to be giving our predictions for each of the divisions. This week, we're going to start with the AFC and NFC North. Would you like to go first with AFC North or NFC North?
AFC North first. Actually, no, NFC North first.
All right.
And if anyone's curious, I have my phone here with my predictions, so that's why I'm looking down every so often. So we are going to segment our predictions by the worst possible record they can get and the best possible record we think they'll get.
You want to start at the bottom of the division and work your way to the top?
Sure, we'll start at the bottom. We're starting with AFC or NFC. What did I say?
NFC North, and you give your fourth place team, then I'll give my fourth.
Okay, my fourth place team is the Chicago Bears.
Okay, and what do you have for their minimum and maximum record?
The worst they will do is 3-14.
Okay.
And the best they will do is 8-9.
Okay, I had a pretty similar prediction. I also have the Chicago Bears fourth. Minimum, I had them 4-13. Maximum, I had them 7-10. So I have their floor a little bit higher and their ceiling a little bit lower.
Interesting.
So you want me to start with the third team?
Yeah, you go. You take the third.
All right. So third in the NFC North, I had the Lions. I actually think they're going to improve a decent amount this year.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, I think they were 3-13-1. And this year, I think their minimum record will be 6-11.
Well, that's not nearly as generous as I was.
But their max, I have them at 9-8.
I actually think okay, so you're more generous than I am actually. I thought you said the max was the other one.
No.
I was like, what?
6-11 is their minimum. That's their floor.
Okay. I said their floor is 4-13, but their floor is that because of Jared Goff and Jared Goff alone.
Okay.
I said their ceiling was 9-8, but I feel like even that was like a little 9-8 was I wasn't being generous enough. Like I actually do think the Lions I think they could be a wild card, honestly.
Like, the NFC North is one of those divisions where I think anything can happen. Like it's kind of open in my opinion, but I think the top two I don't know. It's interesting division with like Adams leaving, but we can get into that.
I think that if Jared Goff is half decent. I mean, they have Swift, Jameson, TJ Hawkinson. They have DJ Chark now. They already have Amon-Ra St. Brown. Their defense isn't.
They also have a very good offensive line.
Yes, they have They have Ragnow. I think he's the center still. I don't know if he left or not. But and the defense is not that great. But the offense is looking real good. That's all that matters, especially in the NFC North.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Packers are going to win the division. I let that free, but
Yeah.
Okay, so I will start with my.
Number
2.
Yeah.
So I'll say the best first. The best possible is 12-5.
Okay.
And the worst I think they will do, and honestly, the worst is what I think they probably will do, or around is 7-10 because of the Vikings, and they just lose games no matter what.
Yeah, I have the Vikings as well, and I have their minimum 7-10, but I actually think their max is 13-4. Mm-hmm. So very similar.
That's very generous.
I mean, you have them 12-5 as their max. It's only
I honestly don't even like that. Was being generous for me.
I mean, I think 13-4. That means, like, for me, maximum means everything goes right. So, with that being the case, I think 13-4 is attainable if literally everything goes right for them.
And then they added Za'Darius. They added. I feel like it's just Za'Darius. I remember they had a linebacker. Not too many big special plays. Obviously, they still have Justin Jefferson. They have Thielen if he stays healthy. They have Captain Kirk.
They still have Justin Jefferson. I don't know if you said that right.
Yeah,
Dalvin Cook, obviously.
Dalvin again if he doesn't get hurt. Honestly, so best case scenario, they all don't get hurt.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
And I think Kirk Cousins is actually pretty underrated, so I think they have a shot to do well. Like they actually have a shot to win the division if they perform.
Okay, you lead off for the
obviously the last team left, Green Bay Packers. Obviously when you have Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, he can take you as far as the team can go as far as he'll take you, is what I'm trying to say. So for a minimum, I have them 10-7 and max is 13-4. as well.
Gotcha. Just to step back a little bit, the linebacker I was thinking was Jordan Hicks. He was their big linebacker. That's a solid linebacker.
Yeah.
So for my last one, obviously, again, it's the Packers, and I said the worst they can do is 11-6, and the best they will do is 14-3.
Okay, so pretty similar on pretty much all the teams.
And the Packers obviously are just a very well-rounded team. They lost Devonte, but I mean, it's still Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. Like, he can turn freaking garbage into gold.
Yeah,
they didn't really add anyone. Then I think they extended or something. It was Alexander, but they signed him. So I guess that's still an extension because he was there.
Jair Alexander.
Yeah, they extended him. Okay, we will move over to the AFC North. And if you don't have anything else to talk about with the NFC North,
I'm good.
The NFC North will be a good division, except for the last team. So that's the last thing I had with them. I will go first. Last place, Cleveland Browns. Worst possible is 4-13, and the best possible is 11-6. Okay. And that all depends on Deshaun Watson. If Deshaun Watson does not play, 4-13 is looking a little generous. I could see them going 2-15. But if he plays, they could be very good.
Okay, for me, this is our first point of disagreement. I have the Pittsburgh Steelers last in the AFC North. I think it really depends on Kenny Pickett. For them, I have their minimum 4-13, max 9-8. I know they have a really good defense, but I really do not like Mitch Trubisky at all. I think he's horrible. And Kenny Pickett's a rookie quarterback, so we'll have to see if he takes over, how he plays. I think as of right now, Trubisky's taking snaps and reps with the ones. At least that's what I've seen in videos of training camp. So for that reason, I'm just assuming that Trubisky's going to be the starter to start the season.
I would firmly disagree with you, but my next team is the Pittsburgh Steelers. So
I don't think I said my minimum and maximum, did I? I think for the Steelers, I have their minimum record at 4-13 and their max at 9-8.
4-13.
Yeah.
For a guy who Tom was never gone below 500. And he's played several seasons without Ben Roethlisberger. He's played several games without Ben Roethlisberger. He's still always managed.
That's the minimum.
I know what I'm saying. There's not a way in the world. I think, I put a below, but I don't think it'll be close if it does happen.
So you're saying there's no shot so you don't think they can go 7-10?
No. I think that's that. I think that, as I was going to say. So my next team is the Steelers. I think the minimum is 7-10.
Okay, maximum.
The maximum is 10-7. I don't think they're good by any means, but it's Mike Tomlin. The defense is so good, and then plus he's used to having garbage quarterbacks at this point. He's had to play with the most random no names whenever Ben Roethlisberger didn't play because he freaking hurt something random or he blew out his back or was doing other things that we don't talk about. What they had freaking Batch. They had obviously Mason Rudolph for a lot of time. Mason Rudolph is way worse than freaking Mitch Trubisky, and they did well enough with him. So I don't see a way they finish below 7-10, but you can do your 13.
So for me, I just want to touch on the Steelers real quick. I mean, like you said, their defense is elite. It will keep them in games. So I wouldn't be shocked if they're around 500, but I think it all depends on the quarterback play because I think they have a good roster. It's just the quarterback that's their biggest.
I mean, other than the fact that Najee and Deontay and then George Pickens, they're all going to make it really easy.
Yeah.
On whoever it is.
And don't forget they got Miles Boykin. So
I mean, the line does matter. The Steelers line sucks.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's an issue.
Weakness, yeah. Okay, so for me, the third team, I just have it flip-flopped. I have Cleveland. And for them, they have a huge range of outcomes. It all depends on Deshaun Watson. I mean, if Watson plays, they definitely have one of the better rosters in the league. But for me, their minimum record is 5-12. I'm assuming Watson's going to play half the season. That's what I'm assuming, at least half the season. So I have them 5-12 as worst case scenario, and best case scenario is 11-6. But now that I'm thinking about it, if Watson literally plays all 17 games, they could be better than 11-6.
I don't think he's just missed so much time. I don't think it's gonna he's not gonna come out running. Also, it's a new team, so it's all gonna be. I think at the beginning it'll be hard at least.
I mean, he is taking reps and
yeah, of course. But it's obviously training camp is different than
I'm just saying he'll have some chemistry, and they do have a great roster.
That is a
great,
question.
great offensive line, running backs. They got Amari Cooper, who's pretty good, who's very good, and their defense is solid as well.
After this, I have a question to ask.
Yeah, okay.
Aside after all our predictions.
Well, actually,
this is still NFL related. My question.
Well, actually, would you say their defense is solid? I mean,
no, the defense is very solid.
They have like playmakers. Like they have Myles Garrett. They have
Ward.
Denzel Ward. They have like
Joe Hayden's gone. I think I'm pretty sure.
Joe Hayden has been gone.
Oh no, I'm stupid. He was on the Steelers.
Yeah,
I was thinking
Greedy Williams. I mean, I'm assuming he's gonna take a step.
I miss Joe Hayden on the Browns,
but he's been gone off the Browns.
It's been like 5 years.
Yeah, but they have like playmakers on their defense, but like as a whole, I think they actually give up quite a bit of points.
We will see. Are we on number 2 now? Yeah, we are.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to go first?
Yes. This is going to be controversial. This is where my bias is going to show. I have the Cincinnati Bengals number 2. I did these predictions based on healthy teams. So for that reason, that's why I have another team first. Cincinnati second. I think minimum they're 10-7, maximum probably 13-4, 14-3, something like that. They have a very good roster. Joe Burrow was very good last year. Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon had a great year. You know, they're a very good team. They went to the Super Bowl. So
I think I agree that I put the Bengals second as well, but I have them. Everything I put for the Bengals is the exact same as obviously the Ravens are the first place team I put. So everything's the exact same. So it's really just going to come down to the games between the two. And if it goes off of last year, the Bengals are going to end up first because they freaking kicked our butt twice. But yeah, the Bengals obviously very solid, and they took their one weakness and they made it honestly one of their strengths, which is their O-line. The O-line is very, very good now. So I mean, obviously Joe Mixon's going to eat up now. I mean, Jamar Chase is already very good. T. Higgins is already good. Tyler Boyd's already good. Joe Burrow, if he doesn't get hurt, shouldn't get hurt. Best possible I said is 13-4, but now that I'm thinking about it, I could see them going 15-2 with the O-line they have. It's the defense that's the issue. Joe Burrow could score regardless, but they do have to play some good teams.
One of their guys is holding out. Their safety.
Oh, Jesse Bates.
Yeah, Jesse Bates is holding out, so that'll be big.
I mean, he doesn't play. That is big.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, they already do give up a ton of points.
They also, they have the division winner's schedule, which is why I think they're going to have a tougher time because obviously they're playing better teams than the Ravens.
Yeah, the schedule is really not that much different though. Like, I mean, they obviously are going to play like the Bills. Don't we still play the Bills?
We play the AFC East.
Yeah, that's awful. So they play the Chiefs, I assume. Yes.
Yeah, they play the Chiefs.
They also play the Bucks.
Yeah, we play the Bucks though too.
Yeah. Who do they play that's any harder?
Give me 1 sec. I mean, they have the Chiefs and they have although they don't have to play. We have to play Denver and they don't. So I'm pulling up the Bengals schedule right now. They have to play the Cowboys.
I mean,
and I think we play the Giants. No, we play the NFC. No, yeah.
I don't know who we're playing, honestly.
No, we play the NFC South. So yeah, they play the Cowboys and we play the Giants.
I mean, that's helpful. But I think the Giants are going to be. I know this is not the North, but I think the Giants will be pretty decent. Maybe
they'll be better than they were last year, but we can.
Okay, well, let's just finish out the North here. I said the Ravens top. He said the Ravens on top. My best possible is 13-4. Worst possible was 9-8. Obviously, they're going to be very healthy this time. Hopefully, knock on wood. Yeah, so a healthy Ravens team. We've seen what they did in 2019. We've seen what they did in 2020. They still did very well. And I mean, even before, they still had tons of injuries. Before Lamar got hurt last year, we were 8-3. So I mean, and even when he was gone, we were still losing games by I think it was 4 points or less. We lost like 7 games in a row or something crazy like that. So I mean, you add everyone back. It's a very good team,
and I think the defense improved as well. I mean, you draft Kyle Hamilton in the first round, and you sign Kyle Fuller as that's our number 3 corner.
Marcus Williams.
Marcus Williams. I can't believe I forgot about him.
We paid him the big bucks.
Yeah. Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters healthy. That'll be huge as well.
We drafted Pepe.
Yeah, I mean. But yeah, so I also have the Ravens first, obviously. Max record for me was 15-2. That's like I said, everything goes right and minimum 10-7. But I guess that's probably wrong because minimum should mean like if everything goes wrong. So we already saw what that was last year.
Yeah, that's why I had 9-8. So it was a little.
But I'm assuming that record was based on everyone being healthy. But obviously, if people get hurt, then yeah, it could be worse.
I think that wraps up our North predictions for this week. Next week, we will move to a different division. Don't know what it will be. It could be West, East, South, something. We'll pick. We're going to move over to fantasy predictions because everyone loves fantasy football. Well, maybe not everyone, but we love fantasy football. And we are just going to discuss, since it's very early, we'll discuss who we think our top 10 players are.
Before you get into that, because for me, it was very hard. So we're doing our top 10 players in the draft. So for me, it was very hard to narrow down to 10 people. So for 10, I have like 3 people. So
oh my God.
If you want to give honorable mentions.
No. I mean, you can, but before we even get into this, I want to ask my question.
Okay, yeah.
Is training camp too long?
Is training camp too long?
I thought of this earlier. I was just like, because Ryan Jensen got hurt today, as many of you may have seen. It's like day 1 or day 2, and someone's already getting hurt. Ryan Jensen, he's a top 10 center in the league. You're losing a top 10 center. It's not even August yet.
Right.
So I mean, at a certain point, I mean, I know you need to like have a period where you ramp up, but do we really need what's like? It's like a month and almost a half before the season starts. It is a month.
I mean, they have preseason though in a couple weeks.
I feel like
I think it's good because they need to get back into football shape, like conditioning and stuff like that. Like a lot of players come in and they're not exactly.
I definitely think it's good for the rookies. The veterans. It's just iffy with, especially after last year, J.K. Dobbins. Even in the preseason, should veterans play in the preseason at all? I mean, technically, it wasn't really a veteran. He's second year,
yeah.
But
I mean, you already know what.
Why would you put a starter in a preseason game? Is the question. Like,
for as long as they did. I mean, I don't have a problem with having your starters in the game for like a drive or 2.
I mean, he was only in the game just for a drive or 2.
No, I'm pretty sure that injury happened in like the second quarter.
No, it was the first quarter.
Oh, was it?
It was literally like the first drive of the game. He went down.
I mean, I feel like that's something they do so that they can get some in-game action because it's hard to simulate that.
Yeah. So that is what John Harbaugh said. But I mean, I just feel like training camp is like a weird topic. Like, you obviously need it, but it's just hard seeing people get hurt so quickly.
I mean, these freak injuries can happen at any time, so it's kind of just like, I mean, I feel like it's a nature of the sport. Like it just happens. I mean, it's unfortunate, but I don't know how you can solve the problem.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that, I suppose, because there's no real answers to the question.
just a topic for discussion.
See, people can say what they think. We'll see what you think. Okay, so I'm going to say my top 10 because mine's cut and dry. I mean, my top 10 is going to be way different than your top 10 because I did not go at all.
Like
a normal top 10, you know?
So I was thinking we would just like trade off. So or do you want to give your list?
No, we can do that. Okay.
Still starting at 10?
No. I want to say my list.
From 1 to 10?
No, I'm going to do 10 to 1.
Okay.
And number 10, Joe Mixon.
Okay.
As we said before, and I'm going to give explanations for each one because I have explanations for each one.
Okay.
Joe Mixon, 10. It's because the Bengals O-line is elite. They're going to be so much covering Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. Honestly, Joe Mixon could be way higher. I just don't like Joe Mixon because I'm a Ravens fan. But that's beside the point. I think he could potentially finish as RB1 this year. I think he could finish as just player 1 in general, not RB1.
Well, I don't think he's
other than the quarterback. Sorry, other than the quarterbacks.
Okay.
But yeah, I think Joe Mixon will be 10. He obviously could be much higher, but again, the bias. 9, Cooper Kupp. The top receiver never repeats. Honestly, I think there's a chance Cooper Kupp doesn't finish in the top 10 at all. I think he may just be a very mid receiver. They added Allen Robinson. He's going to take a lot of targets. And I feel like at this point, like, you have to somewhat adjust to Cooper Kupp. Like, teams are going to try to take him away. Like, you saw eventually teams started taking away Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. Like, they figured out how to shut that down. So I'm assuming people are going to figure out Cooper Kupp eventually. Obviously can't shut down his route running. He's very good at it. But 8, Jamar Chase. That Bengals offense can't stop it. Jamar Chase is an amazing route runner. He's just like Cooper Kupp. He's amazingly talented. Not much to say about him that I didn't say about Joe Mixon. I didn't underrank him, though. I do like Jamar Chase, even though I went to LSU. Screw LSU. Number 7, Derrick Henry. That is much lower than normal, but Derrick Henry is getting up there in age, and I do think They're going to try to overuse him early because they lost AJ Brown. And I think that's going to hurt him very badly. And honestly, without AJ Brown, they're really not that scary. So it's even easier to just commit everything to Derrick Henry. It's not that teams don't do that already. 6 and 6 and 5, we have 2 Vikings. We have Dalvin Cook and then Justin Jefferson. Dalvin is, if he stays healthy, Dalvin is obviously like one of the best.
So who's 6 and who's 5?
Dalvin. So I said Dalvin first.
So Dalvin's 6, Jefferson's 5.
Yeah, Dalvin's 6, Jefferson's 5. Dalvin, I think 6 is his ceiling. I don't see Dalvin doing any better than that because I just don't. I don't see him staying healthy for that long, realistically. But this is best case scenario. So I mean, he's obviously a very skilled running back. His brother is
James Cook,
looking amazingly skilled too. He's got amazing burst, but that's beside the point. That's for the players to watch section of this. Justin Jefferson, I think he could hit 2K this year. I mean, Justin Jefferson's just like Jamar Chase. I think this is going to be Justin Jefferson's like breakout wide receiver 1 year. And I only think that he's going to do it for Jamar Chase just because he's older. Jamar Chase is in line next year. 4th, a little bias here, Najee Harris. I think that the Steelers are much better on offense than they were last year. I just think they're more capable without having freaking 40-year-old Big Ben throwing the ball. Remove the 3, Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey, we've all seen what he can do. Not much to say about that. He stays healthy, he's going to be very good. 2, Austin Eckler. The Chargers offense, just like the Bengals offense, is very potent, very deadly, and I think it'll benefit him immensely. You can't just commit to stop Austin Eckler. He can run on you, he can catch on you, he hit points anyway, and all the other players, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Justin Herbert, they'll all do stuff on their own too. And then last we have Jonathan Taylor. He's at his point that Derrick Henry was at a few years ago, where he's just kind of unstoppable in my opinion. And he's so young that the injuries aren't going to get to him yet, hopefully. And I just see him having another extremely dominant year. And that's my list. Top 10. And what is yours?
So for 10, I had
Where's your honorable mention?
Well, I'm going to get into that. So for 10, I had a hard time narrowing it down. So for these 3 guys, I kind of have it interchangeable for 10. So for me, it was between Stephon Diggs, Devonte Adams, and Joe Mixon. The reason why, I think Stephon Diggs, I mean, he's a wide receiver 1 on one of the best offenses in the NFL. Devonte Adams, arguably the best receiver in the NFL. The reason why he's not higher is because I think he has a worse quarterback this year. Not to take anything away from Derek Carr, but he's not playing with Aaron Rodgers anymore. Although he won't have as much attention since he will have Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller, but that could take targets away from him as well. So that's why I don't have him ranked as the top receiver in the draft. And then Joe Mixon, for all the reasons that Joey already said. I mean, great player, great team, great offensive line. The only thing is, last year, I just don't know if he can like replicate it. And
he's got to stay healthy.
And he's got to stay healthy. And also, he's not a guy that's going to get you a lot of receptions. And he can catch, but he doesn't. Like the Bengals have shown that they're not interested in giving him passing work.
Yeah.
And I did my rankings
mostly based on however.
Yeah, I did my rankings most based on half PPR, so I did factor in
before you get into 9. Obviously you let me go through my list. I just want, because it's an honorable mention, I wanted to question Stephon Diggs. Do you think he's like last year he definitely dipped from
I think he started off slow. But
so do you think he's going to do well the whole year, or he's going to?
I think he has potential. I mean, like playing with Josh Allen and that offense, they're very pass heavy offense. They score a lot of points. I think Stephon Diggs, there is a chance in his range of outcomes that he could finish as the wide receiver 1. Like, would not be surprised if he finished as a wide receiver.
I don't know that much, but
it's very possible.
I would say he finished wide receiver 3.
I think it's possible.
I don't think it's possible.
I have him ranked as I have 3 receivers ranked.
I just think
I have 3 other receivers in my top 10, but playing in that offense with his skill, with his capabilities, I don't think it's out of the range of outcomes.
I just don't think it's possible to finish ahead of Jefferson and Chase. Other than that, yes, I would say he's going to do extremely well. But I'll let you get into your
number 9.
I won't stop you again unless you say something blasphemous. But just continue.
I mean, you might find some of the blasphemous. I don't know. It's the whole point. I mean, I like to talk, and I'm fine with you if you have something to say.
Okay, go ahead.
I have Jamar Chase at 9. I kind of valued running backs. So mostly running backs are towards the top, but I have Jamar Chase at 9. And I mean, honestly, I just have two other receivers higher, and I kind of think that running backs kind of are more valuable in fantasy. So for that reason, I kind of have my rankings reflecting that. I don't know how what else to say. I think he's one of the best receivers in the league. I have him top three, so in terms of receivers. Number 8, I have Najee Harris. The reason why I have him at 8 is because I think their offense, like I said earlier, the quarterback is still a question mark for me. So I just don't know how good the offense is going to be in terms of his like touchdown upside. So that's pretty much it for Najee Harris. We all know he's a great player. He can catch the ball. Yeah, and I don't know how good their offensive line is. So it's bad. Yeah. So, and then number 7, I have Justin Jefferson. Probably could be a little bit higher, but like I said, I have running backs higher. Justin Jefferson. And there's really nothing to add to what Joey said. I mean, he's insane.
It was in the year to break out. I mean, he did last year, but he's at that point.
And I have seen reports that the Vikings are going to be more pass heavy. So
I hope so.
Honestly, I have Dalvin Cook a little bit higher. I probably could have dropped him, but who knows? This is kind of just, you never know. Fantasy is kind of just
luck.
Yes.
Sporadic.
Number 6, I have Derrick Henry. Like Joey said, I don't think he's going to be as good as he has been in years past, coming off that injury with no AJ Brown. It kind of takes away the passing threat. So teams are, I think, he's just going to stack the box. It's going to be tough for him to produce as much as he did in years past. Number 5, I have Cooper Kupp. Wouldn't be shocked if he had regression, but just based on how he played last year, I can't justify him not being the first receiver taken off the board. And I don't think Allen Robinson coming in is going to hurt him because they did get rid of Robert Woods, and I don't know, Odell Beckham still hasn't re-signed, so who knows with that.
Oh, so who's got what, Van Jefferson?
Yeah.
So it's those 3.
Yeah. And I mean, Cooper Kupp is one of those guys that I think Sean McVay schemes ways to get him open. So sometimes it's really one of those things where you can't even really cover him that well. Like, so yeah, Cooper Kupp, I think 5 I wouldn't be shocked if he's not wide receiver 1, but just like I said,
it's unlikely he is.
Yeah, it's hard to replicate that type of season. I mean, that was arguably the best season for a wide receiver of all time.
For sure it was. Didn't he get the most yards?
I don't know.
I hope so. He had an extra game.
Actually, did he pass Megatron? I don't know if he did.
I don't know. We'll figure that out.
Search that up.
I'll search it while Zach finishes his list.
Okay. Number 4, I have Dalvin Cook, and I have him at 4 because it's Dalvin Cook, his ability. I did my rankings assuming players are going to stay healthy. Obviously, you can't really predict injuries. I mean, Dalvin Cook does miss games. Every year he does miss games, but I just think he's Dalvin Cook and he's going to be great. But with the reports of them being pass heavy, I probably could have switched him and Jefferson, but I still think Dalvin Cook's going to be ranked higher at the end of the year than Derrick Henry if he stays healthy.
Okay, to answer our question, he did not pass Calvin.
Okay, that's
Calvin had 17 more yards. But amazingly, Calvin Johnson had 23 less receptions, and he still had that many yards. And that is why Calvin Johnson is probably the best receiver ever, other than maybe like Jerry Rice. But you can continue.
Number 3, I have Austin Eckler. I don't really have much to say about it. Great offense, great player. He's gonna eat up, I think. The only reason I don't have him higher than the next 2 guys is just because I think the top 2 have a higher ceiling than Eckler does. I mean, Eckler's ceiling realistically could be running back 1, but I just think CMC, who I have at 2, if he stays healthy, he's a league winner. I mean, this guy averages 25 points a game if he plays. So, and then Jonathan Taylor I have at 1 just because I think he's the safest pick. It's really hard to choose. Like for fantasy this year, it's like hard because all the running backs have something that you wouldn't necessarily like about them. Like ideally, I would like to choose Christian McCaffrey first overall, but the injuries just keep coming every year.
And Taylor has nothing that you won't like about him.
Well, Jonathan Taylor, it's just tough because they have other guys too.
Other guys?
I mean, not other guys necessarily, but I'm saying I just don't know how his receiving, his How many catches is he going to
I
get?
mean, that's irrelevant when you rush for 200 yards a game. It's like Derrick Henry when he was popping. It doesn't matter.
If I could guarantee Christian McCaffrey's playing every game, I'm taking Christian McCaffrey over Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, so I mean, you do have the receptions, but just to run through, I want to run through one more time, just say it like who I picked and like in what order, just like really quick.
Go 1 through 10.
Yeah. Okay. So 1, I have Jonathan Taylor. Oh, so these are our top 10, obviously, fantasy players. I'm just going through the list real quick.
Okay.
Top 10 fantasy players. 1, Jonathan Taylor. 2, Austin Eckler. 3, Christian McCaffrey. 4, Najee Harris. 5, Justin Jefferson. 6, Dalvin Cook. 7, Derrick Henry. 8, Jamar Chase. 9, Cooper Kupp. 10, Joe Mixon. Those are my top 10. Disagree if you want. Zach, say yours.
Okay, 1, Jonathan Taylor. 2, Christian McCaffrey. 3, Austin Eckler. 4, Dalvin Cook. 5, Cooper Kupp. 6, Derrick Henry. 7, Justin Jefferson. 8, Najee Harris. 9, Jamar Chase. And 10, I'll go with Stephon Diggs.
And that is our top 10 fantasy players. So now I want to move on to our players to watch. Do you have any players to watch, or should I just say mine?
I have players to watch, but I also have like situations to watch. So the first like situation that I have to watch,
you can go first, whoever you want,
is the Seattle backfield. Obviously, with Chris Carson retiring, that kind of opens up. And Rashad Penny, while he is a very talented player, it seems like he's injured every year.
Glass.
Yeah. So that backfield, I know they have a good young running back. His name is escaping my mind.
It's Kenneth Walker, and Kenneth Walker is going to be a beast. Kenneth Walker is my first player to watch. Kenneth Walker is going to take over the backfield. I think even if Penny stays healthy, Penny's dead. Like, it's gone. He will get the receiving downs always, because Penny is a far better receiver than Kenneth Walker.
I mean, but Penny is a very good rusher too. We saw that last year when Carson was there.
Like that's how good Kenneth Walker is, in my opinion. Like he's just gonna, like, there's nothing you can do to stop it at this point, in my opinion. Once Carson left, Carson like easily had seniority, and Carson was really a proven runner because he did it for several seasons. I mean, Penny's, you don't know if he's going to stay healthy, so you don't really want to use him as much. It'd make more sense to put him as a second running back. And 2, I mean, it just works out perfectly that Penny is so good at receiving. I mean, he was a kick returner, punt returner for a little bit, I'm pretty sure. It could be one of those.
Situations like you have in Denver with Devonte Williams. And
exactly.
Where it's like a 1A, 1B.
But it's going to be the same, where one slowly sucks out the other. Like Javonte definitely took over by the end, and he's going to be the lead in Denver this year. But
I don't know. But the thing is, though, like Javonte Williams, I know this is kind of getting off track, but Javonte Williams' ADP is a little high for me, considering I don't think that he's going to be a workhorse by the end of the season. Like, I still, like, as long as Melvin Gordon is healthy, he's still going to get a substantial amount of carries.
It was more, actually, last year it was like 45, 55 in favor of Melvin Gordon, but I think it's going to be flipped this year. I think it's going to be 55
right,
Javonte, 45 Melvin, and it could be like 60-40. But I mean, obviously, like you said, it's still going to be close enough that.
And then who's the goal line back? That's the other thing.
Oh, it's Javonte.
I mean, Melvin Gordon has also been a pretty good goal line back.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want him there, because I feel like a lot of injuries happen on the goal line, and Melvin Gordon is, like, he does get hurt, and he's older.
It's tough though to know. I guess that's one of those things where you're just gonna have to wait for the season to start, and then you'll figure it out. So it's hard to project that type of thing.
Move on to the next situation. We'll call it situation to watch. This one is situation to watch. The Broncos receivers. They have Russell Wilson. You saw what he did with DK and Tyler Lockett. Obviously, you have to factor in the fact that one would always have a good game and the other wouldn't, which is not ideal. But if you guess right, one would get like 30 points and the other would get like 0, but that's irrelevant. So we have Courtland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy. I'm expecting DK, Lockett situation. Courtland Sutton goes up against the ball like DK. Lockett is an extremely good route runner, just like Jerry Jeudy is. Obviously, hopefully, Jerry Jeudy stays healthy. But I mean, do you have anything to say on that situation?
I think both are viable to have on your team. They're both good options to have on your team. I didn't have them on my list, but I do think that both of them should have good years. It could be one of those things like DK and Lockett, where it's hard to find a game where they both, kind of popped off. But I think that they're both worth having on your roster. I think probably whichever one is going later is probably the better option value-wise.
I mean, do you want to backtrack real quick and say like where you would take certain people? Like where would you take Kenneth Walker or Rashad Penny?
Well, just kind of, I don't really know the ADPs.
I know, but like
offhand.
just off of like your mental value. Like, what do you think? Obviously, we are not looking at anything exact right now, so this is not going to be perfect.
I think Rashad Penny is probably going to have a higher ADP than what's his name, Kenneth Walker.
Kenneth Walker, yes.
Yeah, I think Rashad Penny is going to have a higher ADP just because he's got more experience. He's more well known to
if you just had to guess around, just take around.
I would assume that Rashad Penny's probably going to be a late third, somewhere between late third and mid fourth round pick is my guess.
I could see fourth.
Kenneth Walker, probably like a sixth, maybe seventh.
I'm thinking like a seventh.
That's my best guess.
It may be like a fifth and a seventh to me.
It really kind of, I don't really know. I usually draft based on ADP when I'm actually in the draft. So it's kind of one of those things. I mean, obviously ADP isn't the be all, like the be all end all or whatever, but
yeah,
you gotta be able to know, okay, this guy's ADP's here, so I can wait for him. Or even if there's a guy you think's better, but he's later, you can take this guy now and you know that the next guy will be there later. But also if it's one of those things where you can wait to get a piece of it, like for instance with the Judy and Cortland Sutton, the Cortland Sutton and Jerry Judy situation, it's like whichever one of them has the higher ADP, I would pass on them and take the later guy because.
But both are like on NFL.com, the rankings have both of them at like 80s, 90s. So that's what is that like? That's like 7th, 8th round, 8th, 9th.
I mean, that's pretty good value in my opinion.
Yeah, Cortland Sutton in the 7th round. That's like jump on that.
I also think Jerry Judy's a very talented. Oh
yeah. Both of them will do have their games in my opinion. Okay, who's your second?
Players to watch. This is an actual player. I think I put Aaron Jones. It's kind of obvious he's going to be very good this year, but I mean, like he's a big name, so it's like, oh yeah,
AJ Dillon though. Like what?
Well, let me explain. Okay, I don't necessarily think that his rushing is going to be the best it's been in his career, but think about it. There's a lot of targets gone out of this offense. I would not be shocked if they have Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon on the field at the same time for some snaps. So for that reason, I mean, Aaron Jones is probably going to be Rodgers' most trusted target in the offense at this point.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I think his receiving upside is very high, and he's still Aaron Jones. I mean, he's very efficient. He doesn't even need a lot of touches. Like 15 touches is plenty for him, and he'll be able to do a lot with that. I mean, AJ Dillon is going to improve on what he did last year. He's a great player.
I think he's going to take over.
Maybe the rushing. I don't know. I mean, like it could be even if it is a 60-40 split in favor of AJ Dillon for rushes, the receiving upside for Aaron Jones, I think, just makes him a player to watch. I think I agree with his ADP falling or his ranking falling. Obviously, their offense is not going to be as good. Plus, you have AJ Dillon taking more opportunities, so it makes sense. But I'm just saying, I think Aaron Jones is going to have a great season, and I wouldn't be shocked if he ends up outproducing what people think.
Gotcha. Okay, let me say my third now.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So my third, I'm just going to say it's 3 different rookies. First, we have James Cook, an extremely capable receiving back. He was very good at Georgia. His brother is amazing, obviously, Dalvin Cook. And he's just in the perfect situation in Buffalo where they're running backs. I mean, Devin Singletary is good, but I mean, he's definitely had his flaws. He fumbled quite a bit at a point there. And then Zach Moss. Is Zach Moss even on the team anymore? I don't know what happened to Zach Moss. I think he's still on the team. Zach Moss was meh. Both of them, no one controlled it. I mean, so I just think he's going to take over. He's so explosive. He's an extremely good running back. So he probably, other than Kenneth Walker, is the biggest running back to watch. And then we have 2 receivers who are just in perfect situations. Then Sky Moore on the Chiefs. He's got Juju to go against. Obviously, Travis Kelce's command his things. But Sky Moore is extremely good route running. He's extremely fast. They got their speed back. Speed didn't go anywhere. So if he can just catch the ball, basically, is all he's got to do. Sometimes he just kind of drops. He's going to do extremely well. And then Christian Watson for the Packers, he's in the perfect situation. Like, can you even name the wide receiver 2 for the Packers? or wide receiver 1, I guess technically.
Alan
Allen Lazard, exactly.
And then they still have Marquez Valdez-Scantling?
I think so. That's the point. Like these are people you can beat out very easily for the wide receiver 1 position. Allen Lazard is actually a very solid wide receiver. But I mean, he may not be on another team, and he's Aaron Rodgers his whole career, so it's a little different.
It's also going to be interesting how he does without Devonte Adams on the other side.
I think he'll do fine regardless. But we'll move on to unless you have anything else to say about the rookies.
The only thing I have to say about James Cook, I think if he's on the field a lot, then yeah, I mean, if he's getting those checkdowns. It's just that they're just not a very run-heavy team. That's the only thing.
That's the perfect thing for him, then.
Right.
He's a receiving back. He's so good at catching.
Zach Moss is actually a solid receiving back as well. So who knows? And it could be one of those things where they're reluctant to go with a rookie. It depends on the team. I know some teams like to phase them in.
More than willing to
maybe by the end of the season. By the end of the season, he takes over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really have much more to say. For another player to watch, this is another big name that I have, but I was looking at rankings and I see DeAndre Hopkins really low. I know he's going to be suspended for 6 games. So I mean, he's, in my opinion, it's not one of those things where he's injured like Michael Thomas last year. It's DeAndre Hopkins. He's suspended for 6 games, and I know Hollywood Brown just got injured. I don't actually know what his injury was, but
it's non-football injury.
Right. So I don't actually know how long he's going to be out, or if he's even going to miss. Yeah, I don't know. But DeAndre Hopkins is one of the best receivers in the NFL when he's on the field. So I think he's worth stashing if you can get him at a decent.
I think you get him pretty late, probably like 4th, 5th round.
Right. I mean, that's you stash him on your bench until he comes back.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, like he's gonna have good competition for receptions. Like obviously they have James Conner, who's not the best receiving back, but he's pretty decent at it. They'll have Brown, they'll have Zach Ertz, they'll have Hopkins.
Yeah, but he's still DeAndre Hopkins.
Obviously, I mean, he's older now.
He's older now, but I think he's still.
Is he hitting his Julio years?
I don't think so.
He's not there yet?
I don't think so, and he hasn't had the injuries.
Yeah, he was injured for a good bit last season.
That's fair. But I still think D-Hop and that at that point in the draft is worth taking and stashing.
I agree with that. Okay, I'm going to move over to my last one. It's another receiver, another Buffalo Bill, Gabriel Davis. Gabriel Davis is the firm number 2 for the Bills now. No Cole Beasley's gone. Gabriel Davis, I think he averaged like 15 points over the last 4 games last year when Cole Beasley was just basically irrelevant. I think he's going to continue that. I mean, Stephon Diggs. He's going to take his receptions, but that also means Stephon Diggs is going to take coverage, and obviously you're going to guard Stephon Diggs over Gabriel Davis, no matter how good he is. So if he's half decent, he's going to demand.
Emmanuel Sanders is also gone, but they did bring in Jamison Crowder.
Crowder spends half the freaking time on the ground or on the bench.
I'm just saying there are guys there.
But Gabriel Davis he's gonna pop off. He is my number 1 guy to watch. I say this for a reason. I think he doesn't have a great ADP. You're gonna get him for a steal, and I think he could be a top 10 receiver, honestly.
Top 10.
Top 10.
That's a take.
Gabriel Davis, top 10 receiver. You heard it here first.
That's a take. I don't really have much to say, but top 10, that's the take right there. My last thing, it's not really, well, it's a situation to watch, but for me, it's a situation to stay away from. And as much as this hurts me to say as a Ravens fan, I will not be drafting a Ravens running back this year. Stay away from Ravens.
You wouldn't take Gus Edwards in like the 11th round.
That's about like I said.
That's where his ADP is. He is at like 130.
It's one of those things where I would take the guy, whoever between J.K. Dobbins.
J.K. Dobbins is at like the 30s.
Between J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, and Mike Davis, whoever is the latest guy, that's who I'm taking if I want a piece of the backfield. It kind of depends on how my draft is going. If I have to, I would not want to be reliant on one of these Ravens running backs. J.K. and Gus coming off pretty bad injuries last year. And then just too many mouths to feed in that backfield. That's my thing. Even though the Ravens do run the ball a lot, it's just like, how are you going to, every week is going to be different. Like there's no way to know who's going to score, who's going to have more rushes, who's going to get the carry. Like, it's just like, I'd rather in a perfect world, I'd like to just stay away from that backfield.
Of course, but like I said, if Gus does go where his ADP is, like it's like hundreds. I'm taking Gus in the 10th or 11th round.
Right. I mean, at that point,
if Gus plays, Gus is gonna be good.
Yeah. I mean,
he'd be like what? You're like third, fourth back, probably fourth.
Yeah. So, I mean, and it's not horrible. I mean, like if JK and Mike,
he's going early. He's irrelevant.
No, I'm saying if they get hurt, then Gus is a great play at that point.
Oh, of course. I mean, JK, do not take J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins is extremely high. He's like top 10 running backs ranked on most places because they assume he's going to be healthy.
He's early third, I think.
That's crazy for something you don't know.
Even if he stays healthy the whole season, it's just like I said. So there's too many good players in the backfield that it's like, or at least just him and Gus. And then I do think that they signed Mike Davis early for a reason, and then you still have they drafted a running back too. I don't know if Justice Hill makes the team. He might as a special teamer. I really don't know. So, and I don't know. And they're both starting the season on the PUP list. So it's kind of just like, I would just stay away from it if I have the opportunity to.
So just to recap, our situations to watch we have Seattle's backfield. We have Denver's receivers. We have stay away from the Ravens running backs. We have Gabriel Davis finishing top 10. It's going to happen.
That's his take.
Yeah, that's my take. And then we have James Cook, Sky Moore, and Christian Watson. Those three rookies could have breakout seasons very early.
And I just had Aaron Jones and D-Hop. I know they're big names, but I think they might be a little undervalued.
And that is our players to watch for fantasy. We are going to be taking a very brief break here. I will be right back.
I just want to take a second to thank our sponsors for Babbling Bozos podcast. First, second, stay hydrated. And last but not least, I think.
Okay, I'm back. Welcome back. I don't know what he said, but just like
I was just thanking our sponsors.
Oh, who were our sponsors? Oh, I'll look out.
Don't tell me. You'll find.
Okay, we're gonna move to the next topic. Wow, we literally just. Wow, this is not.
I told you, and I'm gonna need to charge my computer, but there's no outlet down here. Oh wait, there's an outlet over there, but that's not gonna be.
What's your battery?
I'm at 28. So, yeah. So we'll see how it goes.
Let's hope, but it's okay. Let's try to get through this.
Speed it up.
Okay. We're gonna move over to the MLB Power Rankings. We can do those really quick because honestly, don't think he knows heck about baseball other than the Orioles. Go Orioles. Trey Mancini, the GOAT. Mo Gabba, the GOAT. Austin Hayes, Adley, the GOAT.
Adley Rutschman, the GOAT.
Santander.
Felix Bautista.
Leave.
Felix Bautista.
He's the GOAT too. Jorge Lopez, depends on the day. Okay, I'm just gonna. Can I just blaze through mine?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing.
Or do you just want to ping back and forth?
Nah, just go you, and then I'll go. Well, see, the thing is like 30 teams, bro. Okay, whatever. You go first.
No, I'm just gonna say them fast. I'm not giving much explanation.
Okay.
30, Washington Nationals. 29, Kansas City Royals. 28, Cincinnati Reds. 27, Detroit Tigers. 26, Pittsburgh Pirates. 25, Oakland Athletics. 24, Los Angeles Angels. 23, Rangers. 22, Cubs. 21, Marlins. 20, Rockies. 19, Arizona Diamondbacks. 18, San Francisco Giants. 17, Boston Red Sox. 16, Chicago White Sox. 15, Baltimore Orioles. 14, Phillies. 13, Twins. 12, Cardinals. 11, Guardians. 10, Rays. 9, Blue Jays. 8, Padres. 7, Brewers. 6, Mariners. 5, Braves. 4, Astros. 3, New York Yankees. 2, New York Mets. And 1, the Dodgers. And that is my top 30.
I'll go with mine now. 30, Washington Nationals. 29, Oakland Athletics. 28, Kansas City Royals. 27, Cincinnati Reds. 26, Detroit. I was about to say Detroit Lions. Detroit Tigers. Number 25, Chicago Cubs. Number 24, Pittsburgh Pirates. Number 23, Los Angeles Angels. Number 22, Arizona Diamondbacks. Number 21, Colorado Rockies. Number 20, Texas Rangers. Number 19, Miami Marlins. Number 18, Boston Red Sox. Number 17, San Francisco Giants. Number 16, Chicago White Sox. Number 15, Cleveland Guardians. Number 14, Philadelphia Phillies. Number 13, Tampa Bay Rays. Number 12, Baltimore Orioles. Had to put them above the Rays. We just took 3 out of 4. Number 11, St. Louis Cardinals. Number 10, Minnesota Twins. Number 9, Seattle Mariners. Number 8, San Diego Padres. Number 7, Milwaukee Brewers. Number 6, Toronto Blue Jays. Number 5, Atlanta Braves. Number 4, New York Mets. Number 3, Houston Astros. Number 2, New York Yankees. And number 1, LA Dodgers.
It's a mouthful. I want to give slight explanations for a few. They're going to be very quick explanations. The Mets at 2 over the Yankees. They swept the Yankees in the series, 2-game series. But I mean, it matters, especially in power rankings. Come on now, it's week by week.
And it's literally if you beat a team, then
exactly. Yeah. Not necessarily though. Depends. 3, the Yankees are 3. They could be way lower. They had a terrible July. I think they were like 10-16 in July, which is really, really bad. Like it may not be exactly that, but I know they've been worse in July. Like they had more losses than wins. The Mariners at 6, their July, just like the Orioles, been scolding hot. But I mean, they're even more than the Orioles because we kind of started a little. So our end June was better than their end June, but you get what I mean. The Brewers at 7. The Brewers and Padres are interchangeable, 7-8. The Blue Jays, they were good for like
they've been hot.
Yeah, they had like a 6 or 7 game winning streak, but that was it. So I mean, like
I'm pretty sure they're still on a winning.
No, they lost yesterday.
To the who?
I don't remember who, but I saw they lost.
Huh.
The Rays are still the Rays. Like, come on now. I don't care if we swept or we didn't sweep. We took 3 out of 4, but I mean, they still have a way better record than us. 3 or 4 games ahead.
That's not way better. That's not way better.
That's better enough that it matters.
3 games ahead.
Better enough that it matters. Let's finish. The Cubs. Okay. So 22 and below, they're all just trash. All of them.
Interchangeable.
They're all garbage.
Except for the Nationals.
I put them the highest because they're 6 wins in a row. That matters. The Angels at 24, they just lost Trout, basically. Who knows how long? He's got his back injury that's apparently rare, and he's probably done for forever now.
Even if Trout's playing, they're horrible.
Yes, but he matters.
He does matter.
Okay, the Athletics realistically should be like second to last. I don't know. I think you have like 29.
I had them.
But they just swept the Astros, and they're top 3 or 4, top 5 team in baseball. I mean, sweeping it matters, especially in power rankings. Come on now. And that is all the notes about the teams I wanted to say something about. Do you have any?
I am not justifying anything.
You have no justification. The Orioles at 12 over the Rays.
Over the Rays.
They've
been hotter. Hey, look at the record.
Okay, but why are the Mariners so low then? The Mariners.
I don't have the Mariners.
You had them at 9.
I have them at 9.
Their record is better than the Blue Jays or say the Padres or the Brewers. I thought.
No justification. Moving on.
He doesn't know what he's saying. Okay, we're moving on to another league because he knows nothing about baseball.
I know about baseball. It's hard to pay attention to the whole league. I just pay attention to the Orioles. Okay.
We're gonna be moving on to. Do you want to talk about the NHL free agency?
No, I thought we were gonna talk about Orioles' upcoming series.
Okay, I forgot about that. Orioles' upcoming series. They're playing a bunch of garbage teams. We went everyone's 9 straight. We're gonna be first in the AL, second in the AL East. I'm not capping. We're playing the Pirates, the Rangers, and
Reds.
That's 9 wins.
In opposite order, though. We're playing the Reds, then the Rangers, then the
Regardless, that's 9 wins. At worst, 6-3. Anything?
I think 6-3.
If we're not 6-3,
is good. 6-3 would be solid. I'd be happy with that.
9 games. We're taking over the Blue Jays. Go Orioles. And don't trade Mancini.
We're starting out in Cincinnati. They have a home record of 22-30. So. And their overall record is 38-59. The next 3 teams we're playing all have a record under 500. We've been playing teams like the Yankees, Rays, Blue. We've been in the AL East all year, pretty much. So this is our time to
June on was our time
to take off a little bit above 500.
You're kind of wrong though. Like we didn't play. We played
not in June.
We played the Yankees and the Rays the first half of the year.
Yeah, I'm saying over the half of the year. I'm saying now, like from June and on. Will we play the Yankees like one more time?
No, we don't play the Yankees. We play the Yankees one more time. I think we play the Rays one more time, but we play the Blue Jays and the Red Sox a lot.
I think those games are a lot more winnable.
Of course, than the Yankees. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. They're not like all garbage teams. We're still playing like.
No, obviously they're not garbage teams, but I think the Orioles have also gotten better over the course of the season. The Adley Rutschman effect is in full effect.
Okay, I'm pleased with our baseball takes.
Yeah,
I hope you all like them. Go Orioles. Don't get rid of Trey Mancini.
It's okay. People don't like baseball.
Happy Mo Gabba Day. We're filming this on Mo Gabba Day. Go.
People don't like baseball anyway, so people don't care.
We're going to skip this section, but we're going to move on to NHL, despite NHL free agency. And we're going to be talking about first the top 10 free agents. And we took this off of like ESPN to talk about this order. So don't say we ranked these poorly because we didn't rank them. First, we talk about Johnny Gaudreau, obviously. I mean, you want to say? I'll let you talk about Johnny Gaudreau first.
I mean, I'm not shocked that he went to an American team. I think the Flyers could have signed him if they made room for him, but
The Flyers dropped the ball.
the Flyers are a poverty franchise, so what do you expect? Columbus, I mean, it's Johnny Gaudreau. He's a great player. Columbus, I still don't think is going to be.
And Columbus, they re-signed technically Line.
Yeah, I still don't think Columbus is a great team though.
They could be a wild card.
They're fringe wild card.
There's a lot of fringe wild card teams this year.
I agree with that.
And we're gonna bounce. Technically, we're not on the list for this one, but talk about the Kachuk trade because it's still the Flames. We'll talk about that. You can say what you want about that first.
The Kachuk trade?
Yes.
I mean, Kachuk is a great player. He was honestly a lot better than I realized last year. But technically, Jonathan Huberdeau actually had more points than him. The thing with Jonathan Huberdeau is he's older. So the Panthers get the younger player and they get the extension. He's re-signed 8 years. Huberdeau, I think, is a UFA after this year.
But they also get Weegar.
They also get Mackenzie Weegar.
And first.
I like the trade for Calgary, but I mean, Florida does get a very good young player in the trade. So I think it could work out for both teams. I think it's going to take a couple of years to figure out who wins this trade. But I think if Huberdeau re-signs with Calgary, then that'll be huge for them.
I think Calgary wins the trade
if Huberdeau re-signs.
Yes. Okay, number 2, we have Nazem Kadri, unsigned. Where do we think he will sign? I will go first.
Go ahead.
So obviously I have 6 potential teams. They could go off of this list if more teams make cap. But I think the most obvious thing that could happen is he goes back to the Avalanche. And then he just takes like a 1-year deal, 2-year deal, make something quick that he can still get his opportunity later on. And then you just go for another cup. I mean, players have done it before. It's not out of possibility. Next, we have the Islanders and Flames are in the same situation. They both have the cap to do it. I think that they both kind of need to do it. They're both not necessarily the Flames need to do it. They did make a splash with the Kachuk trade, getting rid of him, but they got Huberdeau. But I feel like their fan bases feel a little slighted after all of free agency, and they need something positive. So bringing in Kadri would be that positive. And then we have the group of teams that just have the cap space to do it, which is the Red Wings, the Ducks, and the Stars all have the cap space to afford him. And I think the Red Wings and the Ducks would be more likely than the Stars to sign Kadri because they're rising teams and they have the cap space. Do I think they'll do it? No, but I mean, it's feasible.
Buffalo also has cap space.
Yes, Buffalo as well. But I didn't put them on the list because
Buffalo is kind of ascending in my opinion too, though. I mean, they got a good return for Eichel, and Kadri could be a good addition to that team too. I think there's a lot of young teams in the East, or actually in the league in general. There's a lot of young teams. It's so hard for me to predict where Kadri will go. I think in my opinion, the most likely scenario is that he returns to the Avalanche.
I agree.
But just like looking at the cap space situation, there's not a lot of teams that actually have room for him.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to have to make room because from the perspective, I feel like it's got to be a contender that's going to sign him.
Or someone who's like moving up.
Yeah, but I just think he's at the stage of his career where it's like a team that's kind of like up and coming might want to save that money for their young talent that they're going to have to resign later. So, I mean, Kadri...
You couldn't see like a 1-year or 2-year deal where he just goes to another team?
I just feel like he's at the stage where he either is he's going to take a short-term deal if it's a contender, like a cup contender, or if it's going to be one of those fringe contenders, he's got to get term. I think that's my guess.
Okay.
But I'm not going to predict where he's going to go. Because I have no idea.
Okay, well, the next 2 people are going to have to technically predict.
Like I said,
Abs
my opinion, most likely scenarios are returns to the Avalanche. I don't know how they make the.
I'm sure they could somehow.
Did you mention the Devils?
I didn't, but
the Devils do have room, and they already have people signed. I mean, they have Jack Hughes already signed, so that could be an interesting.
Let's move on to Klingberg. John Klingberg. I have a bunch of the similar teams, but this time I put the Senators as well because they do have a little cap space. So I do think he will probably end up I put the Stars as well in this one because he could go back to the Stars.
They have the money, so.
Yeah, if they do sign him, that'd be all their money though. I think he will probably end up on like the Islanders or Flames as well. It's just they have the cap and they need the splash. I just don't think like I put the Red Wings, but I don't think the Red Wings are going to sign him. It's just again that they have the cap and technically they are signing people, but I really don't know where he's going to sign. I will guess the Flames for the sake of guessing things. Or what is your take?
Klingberg,
good player.
Solid player. I think boring. I think he's going to end up back in Dallas. It's just that's my guess.
Okay, well, next we have Patrice Bergeron. I just think he's going to go back to
I was going to say things. He's going to end up back in Boston.
Oh, okay. Next up, Patrice Bergeron done. Bruins is our take. Andrew Kopp signed with the Red Wings. I think Kopp is just a very good all-around player. Some people here don't agree that he's very good.
I know he's not good.
He hates him. Andrew Kopp is a very good signing. He's good at everything. He's not great at everything, but he's good at everything. And you're going to get a good defensive player out of him. I feel like that's what the Red Wings wanted.
Yeah, I mean, he's an analytics darling, and he's a good. I mean, he's a solid. Like, I never say he's a bad.
He's
player.
definitely good at everything.
He's a good two-way player. Like he'll chip in, depth scoring, and he's a defensive player. You're comfortable having him out there late in the game. So
he hates him. Darcy Kemper. The Capitals got Darcy Kemper. They needed a goalie because they got all their goalies left at the beginning of free agency. They got
Samsonov and Vitek Vanacek
gone. I think it was great for them. I don't think they're going to do anything. Like they're going to make playoffs. Maybe I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. My hot take: Capitals do not make playoffs. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about Darcy Kemper. I do think Darcy Kemper is benefiting extremely from being on the Avalanche. So he's definitely not as good as he looked at the end. But he's still a solid goalie.
He's a solid starter.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw him in Arizona. He had flashes in Arizona.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
They were
but he's not going to be what he was
they
in
were
Avalanche.
A horrible hockey team. And I mean, even on Colorado, there was times where he was letting in some
if you get close to him, his like within like 6 feet is awful, even if there are people around.
But I do think he's a solid goalie. I think he's a very capable starter. And I mean, yeah, I don't really have much to say about it. I mean, the Capitals get a decent starting goalie after losing their goalies.
7, Jack Campbell, Oilers. I have nothing to say about this. Continue.
Jack Campbell was pretty good on the Leafs. So I mean,
I have nothing.
Edmonton has been lacking consistency in their for their goalie for a while. So maybe Jack Campbell can bring that for them.
I don't even care, honestly. So I was going to say we can hope, but I really don't care. 8, Claude Giroux. Senators is a very good signing for the Senators. Senators have a very young team. Senators, like the Red Wings and the Sabres, are all teams on the rise.
Ducks.
The Ducks didn't really sign anyone, though, so they're not
the Kings, too. They made the playoffs last year.
They didn't sign anyone either.
That's true, but I'm just saying.
I'm saying teams that signed quite a few people and are on the rise. Or made moves. The Senators didn't necessarily sign a lot of people, but they made moves.
They re-signed Josh Norris to a pretty big deal too.
And they got DeBrincat.
Yeah, that was pretty big too.
Do you have anything else to say about Claude Giroux?
I mean,
got out of Philly. That's good for him.
Good player. He's a little older. I don't actually know the contract. Like, how long was it?
I don't know. I don't care too much. This is the Senators. I don't care about Canadian hockey. Even though that's where hockey's played.
I mean, you should, because Ottawa's probably going to be.
No, Ottawa's irrelevant.
I'm actually curious to see the Giroux contract. It's a 3-year deal, 6.5. He's 34 years old. I mean,
he's old.
What'd you expect?
9, Ondrej Palat.
Ondrej Palat, yeah. I'm triggered that he just said Ondrej.
Ondrej. Yzerman. Yzerman.
The Devils are another team. I mean, they still have a lot of cap space too, so they could also sign another.
Yeah, but I feel like they just signed him to a fat contract because they didn't get Gaudreau.
Did Palat get a big contract?
I think he got like $8 million.
What?
Or no, it was 8 years maybe.
I was assuming like 5 in the 5.
No, I think it was 8 years, not
5 years, $6 million.
Yeah.
And he
That's
is
still a fat contract for
Palat is 31. I don't know.
That's a fat contract.
That's like it's not even like a horrible contract, but it's like why are the Devils doing that? Like I could see like that would make sense if it was like the Penguins or like some team like that. But why are the Devils doing it? Like they're a young team. That's kind of.
And the last person, Vincent Trocheck to the Rangers, which was just a fill hole for Cop because they lost Cop.
Yeah, I mean, I think Trocheck's a solid player.
I filled the hole.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was pretty surprised when I looked at his production for the past couple of years.
I never thought he was like
in
that
Carolina. He did have a 30
good.
He had a 30-goal season in Florida, but that was like maybe like 3 or 4 years.
Good,
ago.
but he's not like.
I'm curious. I need to see the contract for that too.
Well, while you do that, we can discuss the teams that signed the most people. So that the Senators got Giroux, and obviously they got DeBrincat, and then I'm sure they re-signed some people.
Did they extend DeBrincat too?
I think so.
Yeah.
So they're going to rise quickly. The Red Wings got Sherratt, Perron, Kopp, Kubalik, and Mata. Mata sucks. Don't care. They're going to rise. I think they're in the group of teams that are going to compete. And obviously, like Zach said, the Sabres they play extremely well at the end of the year. I remember that. So I think they're another team that's going to compete for a wild card. It's going to be really hard. I think the Bruins will be the team to drop, obviously. So, I mean.
I think we can get more into the NHL playoff predictions like closer to the season.
Yeah, of course. So this is just like
the Trocheck deal was 7 years, $5,625 per, and he's 29. That's not a horrible contract. Especially if he's playing with like Panarin, I think that can really.
And the last thing we will talk about for hockey is the Penguins re-signing their big three. What do we have on that Penguins fan over there?
I don't care if they never make the playoffs again. I'm just happy they're all going to retire. Well, they didn't re-sign their big three. They re-signed.
Okay, sorry, they're all there. Two of them.
Yeah, Crosby's already there. I really am just happy that they brought back
Malkin will be there for 1,000.
Yep, and they're both going to retire as Penguins, so that's good for me. I don't really care.
Any other moves you care about the Penguins made?
I mean, they did trade. They re-signed everybody. They re-signed Raquel. They re-signed Kapanen. They just re-signed Danton Heinen as well. So it's
I saw that.
But they did trade John Marino, and they also traded Mike Matheson.
Did they do anything with POJ?
With what?
POJ?
No. They re-signed him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They got Ty Smith. They got Jeff Petrie. I think another defenseman's probably going to be traded. Probably either Dumoulin or Pedersen. I'm hoping Dumoulin because he's older and is done. Like his deal's done after next year. And I'd rather keep Pedersen. I'm a pretty big fan of his. But we'll see what happens. Still a lot of time before the season starts.
And that is all we have on the NHL. The NBA is irrelevant to us at this point, and it probably will be forever. But we may talk on it one day.
We'll talk about the NBA.
Eventually, it's just not in season, you know?
Yeah.
So now we're going to move on to a little game. I'm sure you guys have seen this before if you were watching. It's where you try to ask yes or no questions, and
ready?
Yeah.
Set, go.
NFL.
Yes.
Oh, wow. AFC.
No.
NFC.
Yes.
West.
No.
East.
No.
North.
Yes.
Giants. Not Giants. Jesus. Packers.
No.
Lions.
No.
Bears.
No.
Vikings.
Yes.
Offense.
Yes.
Justin Jefferson.
No.
Adam Thielen.
No.
Dalvin Cook.
Yes.
Let's go.
Okay. 23 seconds.
I feel like the NFL is really easy for us.
Yeah, the NFL is. I got
you got Derwin in 12
seconds. Yeah. But I mean, it's easier when you have bigger name players, though, too. But I mean,
we're starting off easy, guys. Come on, big names. That's what we need.
No, I mean,
we'll get the hard names eventually.
For NBA and MLB, you gotta go big names. There's no way I'm gonna guess. Like,
I feel like I could get some mid names. Like I could get Josh Hart.
Yeah, I mean,
obviously you would have gotten Josh Hart. That's a mid name. I don't know why you said Josh
Jose
Hart.
Alvarado. There you go.
You know what team he's on?
The Pelicans.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Obviously, I know. How would I know who he is, and I don't know what team he's on?
Okay. Next one, buddy. How about we go 4 for 4?
Ready, set, go.
NBA.
Yes.
Wow. West.
Yeah, no.
East, obviously. Yeah. Okay. Are they? Oh no, are they? Wizards.
No.
Darn it. Heat.
No.
I hate the NBA. I can't even Knicks.
No.
Heat. Or no, Heat. Celtics.
No.
Bucks.
No.
What? You said this is a big player? Oh, I can't even think of any other teams that have big.
All right,
players.
you're over 30 seconds. I need to guess.
Big player. They're in the East. I guess I can't think of any players' names. Zach. I don't know. Freaking Jimmy Butler. I know it's not him because he said no, but I can't think of a player. Who is it?
Zach LaVine. What?
I went bigger player than you did. I said Anthony Davis. You told us that's a mid player.
Mid?
Zach LaVine
LaVine's
sucks.
mid? Zach LaVine is like the
Zach
best
LaVine
shooting
even
guard in the
on?
East. He's on the Bulls.
Is he still on the Bulls?
Yes, as far as I know.
Are you sure about that?
He was last year.
He probably was on the Bulls. I don't know.
I'm telling John, you said Zach LaVine is mid.
I don't even what are even the divisions in the NBA?
I don't know. I don't know. Okay. And honestly, I'm just whatever league you say, I'm just saying yes and going with the player. I didn't select before. I'll do that for the next one though.
No.
What?
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
For the last two, I'll do.
What are the last two? NHL. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Ready, set, go.
NHL.
No.
You just took the other one. MLB.
Yes.
Forget it's come back. AL.
No.
No.
Yes.
The West.
No.
Central.
No.
What is the other one? East, West. I don't know.
East.
It's the East.
You said Central and West. East.
Oh, there's an East. Okay. Mets.
No.
Phillies.
Yes.
Oh. Bryce Harper.
Yes. Got it.
Is it really the East? It is the NL
Yeah.
East. Oh wow.
This kind of what it is. Okay.
And I know baseball well too. That's
All right. Last one. Ready?
Okay. Wait. What league is this? NHL. Okay, go ahead.
Ready, set, go.
NHL.
Yes.
West.
No.
So it's the East. So is it the Metro?
No.
Okay, so it's the Atlantic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Atlantic. Red Wings.
No.
Jesus, I don't know the Atlantic teams like Lightning.
Yes.
Oh, is it Stamkos?
No.
Oh, is it Vasilevsky?
No.
Is it Kucherov?
No.
Oh my God, is it Hedman?
Yes.
Let's go. 3 out of 4. That's way better than he did. And you can find that out on TikTok.
I gave him easier players aside from Levine, but
Levine was hard. I feel like Levine was the hardest player overall.
I don't know.
No, it definitely was.
For me, yeah. Like in terms of names, yes. Levine is the toughest one. But for me, because Anthony Davis never was on the court.
Yeah, but that's a big name.
I know it is.
I feel like,
and I like Anthony Davis.
If you were gonna say a name that you could say is small, maybe Yu Darvish, but Yu Darvish is a big name as well.
I think Yu Darvish at this point in his career, it's like
he's not even old.
Is that what do you mean he's not old?
Yu Darvish is probably like 34 or 35. There's no way he's past that. How old is Yu Darvish?
That's what I'm looking up.
That's what I'm asking. Didn't I tell you that quick? How old is he?
35.
Wow.
35.
Told you.
That's old.
35 is not old for a pitcher at all. Freaking
okay,
Verlander's like 42.
I know, and he's playing on.
And he's gone. He's like Cy Young level.
Honestly, MLB guys are. I gave you a way easier MLB. Bryce Harper, that's way easier.
I would have gotten Yu Darvish, but I mean,
and for me, I don't know why, but like for me, baseball's so regional. So like I feel like I know the teams on the East Coast way better than like the out West teams.
Honestly, if you didn't give me Bryce Harper, I don't know any other players on the Phillies.
Aaron Nola.
I would never. Is Real Muto still a Philly?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
Next time, give me an Oreo.
Okay, well.
Is there anything else?
I think that's all we have for this episode of the Babbling Bozos podcast. Thank you for viewing our first episode. I don't know if it's all going to be in one episode because it was a lot. We need to cut that down a little bit. Yeah, that was fun. Peace.